Good morning, boys and girls. I hope everybody is doing well today. You know, it's almost Thanksgiving, isn't it? And we have a really nice Thanksgiving book today that I think you will enjoy. It's called Mousekin's Thanksgiving. And then next week we will have another Thanksgiving book, and it's called Thanksgiving Day because it will be on Thanksgiving Day. So let's read Mousekin's Thanksgiving today. Boys and girls, this book is called Mousekin's Thanksgiving, and it is by Edna Miller. And if you will look at the cover picture, you see a turkey over here, and you see a little tiny mouse. We'll just call him Mousekin because that's what they called him in the title of the book. So let's see what happens with Mousekin's Thanksgiving. All right. Here he is, right here. I'll point to him because it's a little hard to see him. Mousekin was hungry when he woke up in the night. A cold November wind blew through the forest. It lifted and scattered the leafy roof that covered his home on the ground. And you see that his home, it looks like a log of a tree trunk that has been out at the end, and he's made him a little home in that hole in the log. Now, that's what it was. You see a better picture of it here. Mousekin peered from his tiny lined nest, and peered just means that he looked. Mousekin peered from his tiny lined nest to the bare swaying branches above. He looked for owls that hover on air or hawks that might have awakened as he had, hungry in the night. And you see some little pictures of the owls up here. Only the wind playing harp through the trees met Mousekin's large silken ears, and a sound far off in the forest. A sound that he'd never heard before. It was a soft gobble, gobble, gobble. Now, what could that have been? When Mousekin was certain that all was still, he hopped from his nest on the ground, and he ran to the foot of a hickory tree. Here he is, at the foot of the hickory tree, where a store of his food had been buried. Now, when it says a store of his food, it means just a supply of his food where he had buried it, because some animals will do that. They will, when they know that winter's coming on and food may be hard to get, they'll take some food when they have extra and hide it somewhere, different places. So that's what he had done. He had buried some there. But he stopped in his tracks at the tree. He squeaked and squealed with anger. His store of nuts, seeds, and berries had been stolen, every one of them. Oh, he looks so sad, doesn't he? The ground around was stripped and torn down to the tangled roots of the tree. The little mouse trembled with rage, anger, and fear. No seed-eating creature he had known could dig so wide and deep a hole. Now he's thinking about things like birds and all that eat seeds, and they would be so small that they couldn't dig a hole that deep. And he's looking in. He leaped for safety and raced to the top of the tree, and you see him over here. He huddled there till daybreak, and when he dared to peer about or look out, he spied nut meats, seeds, and berries had been tucked into the tree's shaggy bark, and you see some of the little red berries here, and he's looking at them. Mousekin was very hungry now. He reached for one of the seeds, and before he could pry it loose, a woodpecker landed nearby. And here it is. That's a beautiful picture of the woodpecker, isn't it? And Mousekin is looking out at him. "Be off," he cried as he went rat-a-tat-tat with his beak on the hickory tree. "I saw the creature that stole your food." Now this is what the woodpecker is saying to him. "I saw the creature that stole your food. It was bigger than a pheasant, it was bigger than a goose, and it was the biggest bird I've ever seen. And it might like mice, too. He's trying to scare the Mousekin, isn't he? To think that whatever it was that stole his food might be looking for Mousekin, too. Mousekin hurried to the bottom of the tree. He was very hungry now. A white-footed mouse makes certain that he has more than one winter's supply of food, and we talked about that just a minute ago. So that they have two or three, or maybe more than that, supplies of food in certain places. A white-footed mouse makes certain he has more than one winter's store. He ran beneath the litter of leaves that cover the forest floor till he came to a tall evergreen. And you know what an evergreen tree is. It's one that doesn't lose its leaves in the fall. It stays green all winter. And beneath the pine tree was a hole that had been freshly dug. And it's where Mousekin had hidden another supply of food. A pile of pine needles was all that was left. No weed seeds, no beech nuts, and no dried berries. Oh my goodness, this is another supply of his food that is gone. He heard the chatter of squirrels as they woke in the tree above. Mousekin knew that squirrels ate nuts and seeds. He squeaked and drummed his tiny paw to let them know that he was angry. Now here are the squirrels in the tree, and here he does. He looks angry, doesn't he? Now let's see what they have to say. "Oh, we didn't take your store of food," the frisky squirrels cried. "Our food was gathered in the fall and stored inside our nest. But we saw the creature that stole your food. It was very big and it was frightful. It had a naked blue head and a warty red neck with long, sharp spurs on its legs." Now, there the squirrels have described it to him. More hungry than afraid, Mousekin raced through the woods. He had only one more supply of food to last the whole winter through, and it was hidden inside the stump of a tree in a tangle of leaves and brush. Oh, I just wonder if it's gone too. I hope not. When Mousekin reached his buried treasure, he knew that someone had been there before him. The hollow stump was scratched clean of leaves, along with the last of his harvest and his food. Oh, there he is. It's so sad. Mousekin spied a cottontail napping in the brush. Now, cottontail, yes, you know, is a rabbit. Angrier than ever, he drummed his paw. The rabbit woke and thumped her foot in answer. "I didn't steal your winter store of food, but I saw the one that did. It was big, it was ugly, and it made the strangest sound." There they are talking. And not far from the stump in the stand of trees, they heard that gobble, 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 gobble. The rabbit disappeared into her burrow, and Mousekin stood frozen with fear. So take just a minute to see these pictures. Oh, a huge bird rushed from cover. His shining feathers were ruffled and fluffed. His wingtips made a rattling noise as they brushed along the ground. And with tail feathers spread like a great big fan behind him, he was a fearsome sight. There it is. We see what it was. And here's Mousekin looking up at him. Whoa, look how much bigger the creature is than Mousekin. The wild turkey rushed right past Mousekin. He rushed at a swooping owl. The owl had spied Mousekin crouched in the clearing, but quickly changed its mind that he would never come that way again, not to hunt because of the white-footed mice. Mousekin scrambled to the top of a tree and hopped inside the hollow. Here he is. And look what's happened. Look at the weather. He was still a very hungry mouse, but he was glad to be alive, and as he fell asleep he heard the turkey call, "Gobble, gobble, 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 gobble." And as Mousekin slept, the first snow of winter fell. It blanketed the tops of the trees and the forest floor below. It hid the food that all creatures need to see a long, cold winter through. The snow has hid all the supplies of food that the little animals have stored up for winter. Oh my. Mousekin woke to the chatter of squirrels and of woodpeckers. Rat-a-tat-tat. He heard chickadees calling, "Chickadee-dee, chickadee-dee." And he heard the turkeys, "Gobble, gobble, 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 gobble." So what Mousekin saw when he looked below surprised the little mouse. There was a happy gathering of creatures and a feast spread out on the snow. Oh, look, here he is way up here in the tree, and he's looking down at all the different creatures, the rabbit, the birds, the woodpecker, the squirrels, the beautiful cardinals or red birds, and they're just having a ball eating, aren't they? And he's so hungry. Let's see what happens. The wild turkey, with feathers unruffled, dug beneath the deep white cover, and he turned up grapes, dried apples, and seeds, and there were acorns for everyone. Look at the turkey. See, he's got his feet and his claws. He's able to dig under the snow and get all that food out that had been hidden by the snow. So after all, he wasn't so bad, was he? Mousekin scampered to the ground. Here he is. He's looking down at him. He scampered to the ground and he stuffed his cheeks with all he could carry, and then he hurried back to his nest in the hollow. And it shows him up here. You may not be able to tell, but he's eating right there. I think he has a berry in his mouth. But they are so happy that that wild turkey that they were afraid of is now helping them out. How about that? Take a minute to look just at that picture. And when evening came, Mousekin curled to sleep. There would be plenty to eat and nothing to fear with the big friendly bird roosting nearby. Oh, how cute. Here he is. His tummy's full, isn't it? And he's all snuggled in to sleep. And here is the wild turkey, the big friendly bird, and he's roosting. He's going to stay on that limb. And I bet they'll get up the next morning and he'll dig out some more food for them, don't you? That was the sweetest book, Mousekin's Thanksgiving. Now, I hope that you will have a good day, a good Thanksgiving week, and I hope that you will join us next week on Thanksgiving Day, and we'll have another Thanksgiving book. Now remember, I love you, and God loves you too.
Open them, shut them. Open them, shut them. To the shoulders fly. Let them like the birdies flutter, flutter to the sky. Open them, shut them. Open them, shut them. Give a little clap. Open them, shut them. Open them, shut them. Raise them in